समझ नहीं आ रहा अपने सैलरी इंक्रीमेंट का क्या करूं।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स के एसआईपी का टॉप अप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
क्या? समझ में नहीं आया।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स का एसआईपी टॉपअप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
अब समझा।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme related documents carefully.
The political drama in Karnataka shows no sign of ending. Sometimes it looks like there is truce. The Congress party would love to have a truce. On Saturday, both Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar met for breakfast and posed for smiling pictures. But you know, politicians can smile or politicians can frown depending on what works for them. So this is not over. Now Karnataka, the reason we've taken so much time also, we did come to you earlier with Karnataka, because it's a particularly cluttered state. Usually we think that complex politics comes from the Hindi heartland states, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, like that. But Karnataka actually can put both of them in shade. Karnataka came into being on 1st of November 1956, the current state of Karnataka. Before that, you had the Mysore state and you had the Kurg state, etc. It was consolidated into what was then called Mysore state on 1st of November 1956. In 1973, it was named Karnataka. And the old watchers of Cut the Clutter, particularly from COVID days when we used to shoot from home, already know Mr. Denzel, who's just passing by. He decided to make an appearance. He's been around and he's a prolific star on Cut the Clutter. So say hi to Denzel. So let's look at Karnataka this as the state came into being in 1956. From 1st November 1956 to now, that is 69 years, Karnataka has already had 20 chief ministers, as in 20 individuals as chief ministers, and 28 chief ministerships. What that means is that the tenure of each chief ministership has averaged less than 2.5 years. That's a lot of instability. I don't think there are many states in India that can beat Karnataka at this. This is no great distinction for such an important state to have, because right since the independence, in fact, from even before independence era, Karnataka, Bangalore is where the big industry came. And I deliberately said Bangalore because that's how it was called then. Bengaluru now, I know, before we start protesting. Now, I told you 20 chief ministers, physically 20 beings, and 28 chief ministerships. That's also because many of them had many chief ministerships, not one lasting 5 years. In fact, in the entire history of Karnataka, in these 69 years, only 3 chief ministers have completed their full term. That is S. Nijalingappa in his second term. He had an earlier shorter term. Then 1962, he got a 5-year term. In fact, a little over 5-year term, because he had started earlier, a little over 5-year term. A 5-year term between 1962 and 68. Then D. Devrajars from 1972 to 77. That was under Mrs. Gandhi's heyday and also the emergency. And finally, Siddaramaiah in 2013-18 in his last term. So maybe it's a good aspiration that he should now become the first human being, first leader, first chief minister in Karnataka to complete not one but 2 full terms in a state where he is only the third in 69 years to serve 1 full term. That was 2013 and 18. Within this, how do we account for 28 chief ministerships and 20 individuals who became chief ministers? That's because many of them had multiple innings in chief ministership. Siddaramaiah has his second, Yediyurappa has had fourth. Before that, Ramkrishan Hegde actually had 3 innings within the same assembly, because those days governments could use Article 56, etc. And it was in that sequence at some point that S.R. Bomai became chief minister, was pulled down, and then went to Supreme Court. That Supreme Court, he had a very short tenure as chief minister, but his name got immortalized because of the S.R. Bomai judgment, where the Supreme Court said that the final test, the only test that matters of majority is a floor test in the House. That said, why is Karnataka so complicated? Why is Karnataka so unstable? It is unfortunate that a state which has the engine of modern India's economic growth, economic and tech growth, Bengaluru, is in such a bad state of governance, because in the process governance suffers all over the state. Also, freebies then become the currency of political power, and the state is left with very little. We see that in the state of Bengaluru, and also in the fact that Karnataka has failed to build any other urban centers in all this period. Now, why is Karnataka so unstable politically? That's to answer those questions and to unravel some of these complexities. Who do we go to? We go to DK Singh, our political editor. DK, why this instability particularly in Karnataka? Because you don't identify a southern state with such rough and tumble of politics. But before that, what's the current state of play between Siddaramaiah and Shivakumar?
So as you mentioned, on Saturday they had this truce. We are saying it temporary because the High Command wanted them to basically get the entire focus away from Karnataka. So for now they have said that the High Command will take a call. But you have this assembly session starting from the 8th. It's going to be there for 2 weeks. And after that, as we have discussed, Siddaramaiah's point is he wants to be the longest serving Chief Minister of Karnataka. Now, Devraj, he completed 2790 days, almost 7.6 years in two terms.
In different terms, yes.
Now, Siddaramaiah will surpass him on the 6th of January. So, this is what he has been trying to buy time. So, now it's the assembly session starting from the 8th. Then it will be the longest serving CM, that will be after the 6th. Then you may hear that, okay, budget session is just a couple of months later. So just wait for the budget session and then something new will come. So it is going to continue like this. Even when he had taken over the reins in 2023, I was there, his people were very clear that it is going to be there for 5 years.
So he had not bought into that 2.5 year formula.
DK Shivakumar has been maintaining that there was a secret deal, and we were also told here that there was a deal. In 23, when there was total stalemate, High Command had given him the assurance in front of Siddaramaiah that it will change after 2.5 years. But the High Command has got so weakened. We saw what happened in Chhattisgarh between Singh and Baghel. We saw what happened in Rajasthan.
Because in Chhattisgarh also the understanding was that there will be a changeover.
Yes.
And in Rajasthan as well. So the Chief Minister just defied the High Command. In the process, the party got wiped out.
In Rajasthan, there was no formal understanding as such. But then when the High Command wanted to assert itself, we remember how Sachin Pilot had actually revolted with about 30 MLAs. And High Command, 2 years later in 2022, in fact, High Command wanted a change of guard. Gehlot defied. In fact, many of his MLAs went to the Speaker to offer resignation letters instead of attending the CLP meeting. High Command had to cave in, and we saw what happened in the next election. So last time you had the High Command actually running its writ. We are not even talking about Virendra Patil. It was in Punjab in September 2021. But then Captain Amrinder Singh was booted out.
And how? Because they threw out Amrinder Singh and they brought in Channi, and the party got wiped out there as well. So Congress, basically the basic story right now is that the Congress High Command is greatly weakened. And any Chief Minister can defy them. And where a Chief Minister does not defy them, then the voters punish the guy they bring in place of the CM, as in Punjab.
So High Command also, it doesn't have many options because Siddaramaiah is 78. Now there is no way that he is going to get another term. He knows it's his last term, and the Congress cannot take the risk because Siddaramaiah has many options. If you look at his options, if he decides to defy the High Command, one option obviously is your Captain Amrinder Singh option, where you give in and you resign and you leave the party if you want to. Next option is Ashok Gehlot, where you have a majority of MLAs with you, you defy the High Command and there is nothing they can do. Again, look at other options. You have Jyotiraj Scindia option, but he has so many MLAs with him. Scindia option may not be there. He may look for something like Eknath Shinde option, where BJP will come. Of course, BJP is ready to fish in trouble waters. You get away with the majority of MLAs, and BJP is there to get you the majority. So Siddaramaiah has so many options that Congress High Command doesn't know if he decides to go on rebellion, How will you handle that?
Because BJP also has less risk getting him there, because BJP does not have such a big OBC vote bank. They think they get Congress's vote bank, and he will not be there for unlikely to be there in the next term. So BJP can go back to its Lingayat formula and maybe get a tadka of OBC as well.
Exactly. And then the social justice plank that he has been promoting right since taking over. Rahul Gandhi loves that. He's championing himself as the face of the OBCs, what they call Ahinda.
Right.
That you have minorities, Dalits and backward classes. He wants to be the face of that. But remember, in his last term, in 2018, he had full 5-year term, 13 to 2018.
So full form of Ahinda you will see on your screens.
He had full 5-year term. Then he contests elections. He contests from 2 seats. Everybody is talking about how popular he is. He contests from Chamundeshwari, from where he loses the election by about 36,000 votes. He is barely saved from on his other seat, Badami, which he won by 1,600-1,700 votes. If he was such a popular leader, he wouldn't have lost Chamundeshwari like that. And the result in Badami. So that's the perception you create. And actually, the Congress does not really have any other OBC face. And Siddaramaiah, we know, there are many other contenders. He's playing there also. You have Parmeshwar, you have Jakiholi. So every time the High Command...
Parmeshwar is a Dalit.
He's a Dalit. Jakiholi is tribal. Then you have, of course, MB Patil.
Jakiholi is from Belgaum.
Belgaum. Then you have MB Patil, who is a Lingayat face. So every time it starts floating, Siddaramaiah also starts playing around. And as we are given to understand that his thing is, okay, if not DK Shivakumar, if not me, not DK Shivakumar either. And then he keeps popping up these people and they start...
तुम अगर मुझको ना चाहो तो कोई बात नहीं, तुम किसी और को चाहोगे तो मुश्किल होगी, right? पर कोई और आप ले सकते हो, पर I will choose that कोई और, not this one, not this one. Now, Congress party itself, Congress's problems in Karnataka, Karnataka was very much a Congress state. In fact, Mrs. Gandhi, when she wanted to come back to Parliament after the emergency, she chose Chikmagalur, right, in Karnataka. Now Congress struggles to win Chikmagalur, if at all. Where are Congress party's problems in Karnataka rooted?
The social base has been kind of floating. Now that's where they're looking at OBCs now. So Lingayats, you talk about Chikmagalur election. Virendra Patil's fault, of course, he had gone with when the Congress had a split, he had gone with
1969.
69. And then he had contested against Indira Gandhi in Chikmagalur.
Double crime.
Double crime. So, Rajiv Gandhi took the pretext that, okay, it was about communal rights, he was not well, he had suffered a stroke. But the fact was the family always had that grouse against Virendra Patil.
But we have to remind our viewers that when Rajiv Gandhi fired Virendra Patil so summarily at an airport press conference, Virendra Patil had just had a stroke at a relatively younger age of 66. So he was not able to get up to greet Rajiv Gandhi. And the state had communal riots in Channapatna, which is towards generally in the Vokalega area. Channapatna is now known, it has a GI tag for wooden toys, right? And 88 people had been killed in communal riots. So Rajiv was showing anger over communal riots. And he got rid of him. But at that point, Rajiv was not the Prime Minister. He had ceased to be the Prime Minister. And Virendra Patil had only survived because Rajiv Gandhi had lost power by the end of 1989.
There's a very interesting incident then. When a chief minister defies, what do you do? So Rajiv Gandhi had declared there at the airport that he will be calling a CLP meeting in 4 days to get another chief minister elected. Now the governor said that we will not recognize a CLP meeting because CLP meeting has to be called by the chief minister. Virendra Patil was not ready to call that meeting. And then they had to impose the president's rule before Congress, other MLAs kind of teamed.
That's what happens when you don't control the center, because at that point, Congress party was not in power in the center, so they could not run, and governor could do his own thing.
Yeah, and governor was the VP Singh government's appointee. We are talking about 1990.
Right. So, what I'm going to do is, I will read out some names to you, because these are very familiar to you at the national level. This is to give you an idea that Karnataka politics also is a battle that's been fought, or a war that's been fought since 1956 among Maharathis of Indian politics. We err greatly by believing that all these guys exist only in the heartland. Look at leaders from Karnataka. Nijlingappa, president of the Congress party, 1969, leader of the original Congress party on the other side. Chief Minister, the first one to serve a full term in Karnataka, but that was his second term. Nijlingappa B.D. Jatti, who became Vice President of India later. Virendra Patil had two terms. First term that ended very quickly after Mrs. Gandhi won the 1971 election. Devraj Urs, again a national leader. Gundu Rao, who made fame for multiple reasons. Ramakrishna Hegde, Chief Minister thrice over in the same assembly. S.R. Bommai, I told you how he made his fame. S.R. Bommai, who I told you how he got immortalized. Bangarappa, H.D. Devagowda became Prime Minister of India. S.M. Krishna, Chief Minister, also became External Affairs Minister at the center. And then one BJP term which saw three Chief Ministers. Just explain that to us and then we'll call it a day, because otherwise we can go on talking for an hour about Karnataka politics. And then you what? It's not just that the Congress party has had trouble in Karnataka or has had dramas and leadership crisis. Look at the history of B.S. Yediyurappa. He becomes Chief Minister, everybody rises, the party is unhappy with him or always impatient with him, because he also is somebody who doesn't care so much about the High Command. So party doesn't know whether to accommodate him or to get rid of him. He became Chief Minister, then replaced by Sadanand Gowda, then Jagdish Shekhar. And once again, he became Chief Minister in a split assembly. That is when first Congress and Kumaraswamy's party or Gowda's party decided to share power, and they were then pulled down after the 2019 parliament elections. And then Yediyurappa came, but again BJP did not let him survive. And then he was replaced by Basavaraj Bommai, the son of S.R. Bommai. That too was a short-lived chief ministership. So, DK, am I right to say that it isn't just the Congress party which has seen instability and challenge to the High Command in Karnataka, it's also the BJP.
When you're talking about Yediyurappa's second term as Chief Minister, there was this Lokayuk indictment, this
Right.
filing case, and he sensed that the High Command was not supporting him. And he was miffed and he just walked out of the party. He was made to resign. Then he forms his own party and shows the BJP's defeat. And what Narendra Modi does, Yediyurappa was the first one he decided to bring back to the party because he knew his importance. But then what happens in 2021, so in his fourth term, Yediyurappa was not even getting appointment with the High Command, most of them. He was not allowed to expand his cabinet whenever he wanted. He was made to wait for weeks and weeks to expand his cabinet. Again, that high commandism, and he got so frustrated. Finally, he resigned out of frustration. So that high commandism in both parties has had its toll on Karnataka politics.
And in all analysis of Karnataka politics, we hear two castes, Vokaligas and Linkayats. And those are issues that Karnataka politics is not able to resolve, because Congress lost the Lingayat vote when the Lingayats saw their tallest leader, Virendra Patil, being humiliated by Rajiv Gandhi. And the BJP similarly cannot humiliate Yediyurappa beyond a point, because he today is seen as the tallest leader of the Lingayats, and they are the BJP's most loyal
And that's
vote
why his
base.
son has been the state BJP president for so long. And this caste dynamics is something what is also keeping Siddaramaiah afloat, because the Congress does not have any OBC leader of his stature.
Yeah.
His popularity aside, but the fact that the Congress does not want to be seen as removing an OBC CM and installing a
Vokaliga. On the other hand, DK Shivakumar is a Vokaliga, and that is really not an essential part of the Congress party's vote base in Karnataka. That vote is, a large part of the vote is taken by the Gowdas, by Devagowda and Kumaraswamy and that clan, who are now allies with the BJP. So once again, anybody who thought, all of us sitting in Delhi, we think Brahmin, Thakur, Bhumihar, Dalit, OBC, etc., we look at the Hindi heartland and we think that's complexity. You want to see real political complexity, come to Karnataka. I am learning, DK is learning, but DK also keeps teaching me and all the rest of us.
So interesting thing, Shekhar, here is in his first term also, Siddaramaiah was playing with the social justice plank. This caste census thing he had started. So again, same games are being played now also. Again, social justice is a plank. In the process, Karnataka is suffering. Siddaramaiah did all that social engineering in his first term, didn't work, Congress lost. In this term, all that we have heard is this tussle between him and his deputy. And again, this caste census and social justice plank, we know what the result is going to be if it goes that way.
Yeah, it will be the same. So once again, Karnataka, we can say, is also the Waterloo of the high commands. It may be a weak high command as the Congress is now. It may be a very strong high command as the BJP was in the past when Yediyurappa became chief minister for the fourth time. BJP was all powerful then with 303 seats in Delhi. So there is something about the waters of Karnataka that make its politics so interesting, so spicy, and so complicated. DK, thank you very much for helping us unravel this. But let me tell you what, you will have to keep coming back to explain more of this because this drama isn't over yet.